The sprawling halls of the Galactic Academy buzzed with activity, students from dozens of species mingling, debating, and showcasing the best their civilizations had to offer. Floating holoscreens flickered overhead, displaying star charts, cutting-edge research, and proud histories. But today a new group arrived, turning heads and stirring whispers. The alien exchange students had landed. They strode through the main atrium with an air of effortless superiority. Tall and slender, with iridescent blue skin and multifaceted eyes, they moved like a wave of cold elegance. Their leader, Zara, wore a tailored uniform that shimmered faintly with nanofibers, marking her as one of the Academy's most promising minds. From the moment they appeared, Zara's group drew a line in the cosmic sand, a quiet but unmistakable message. Humans were beneath notice. Morgan, a human cadet in her early 20s with a shock of unruly dark hair and sharp green eyes, watched them from across the hall. The alien's smug smiles and whispered sneers did not escape her. She had heard the rumors before arriving here, how humans were considered clumsy, impulsive, and technologically backward by the galaxy's elite. But Morgan's jaw tightened. She wasn't about to let centuries of underestimation slide by. "Look at them." One alien student snickered to a companion, voice dripping with disdain. "Primitive minds trapped in fragile bodies. Their technology barely scrapes the 22nd century. They belong in a museum, not this academy." The words hit Morgan like a slap, but she forced herself to stay calm. "Keep talking," she thought. "We'll show them." Zara caught Morgan's gaze, a slow, cold smile curling her lips. "Humans," she said aloud, voice carrying through the atrium like a sharp blade. "You are curiosities here, an ancient species barely crawling from infancy. We'll tolerate your presence, but remember your place." The surrounding students tensed. Many glanced between the groups, wondering how humanity would respond. The academy was a crucible of intellect and diplomacy, where open conflict was rare, but the battles of pride and respect were fierce. Morgan stepped forward, standing taller than she felt. "You think we're primitive? You think we don't belong? Fine, prove it. Let's see whose legacy is worth remembering." A ripple of murmurs spread. Zara raised an eyebrow, intrigued. "Legacy?" Zara echoed, voice dripping with disbelief. "What would humans possibly have to show that merits respect?" Morgan's green eyes locked on Zara's. "More than just technology. You think it's all about machines and flawless cities? We'll show you the spirit that built those machines. The heart behind our survival." Zara tilted her head, amused. "This should be entertaining." The Academy Council, an assembly of representatives from the galaxy's greatest civilizations, had been watching quietly. The challenge hung in the air, charged with potential and risk. If humans could prove their worth beyond the rumors, they would break barriers. If not, their place would be confirmed as second class. "Very well," announced the council's chair, a towering being of crystalline light. "We will host a legacy challenge. Both species will present a visual record, video, holography, anything they choose, showing what makes them worthy of this academy and the wider galaxy. The winner gains a seat on the Galactic Council and the respect of their peers." A collective intake of breath swept through the hall. Morgan felt a surge of adrenaline. The stakes were higher than she'd imagined. This wasn't just about pride. It was about survival, recognition, and future alliances. Humanity's chance to finally step out of the shadow cast by millennia of doubt. Zara's smile was razor-sharp. "Prepare your footage, humans. When you see ours, you'll understand the true meaning of advancement." Morgan's gaze hardened. "We'll prepare something you never expected." As the alien students dispersed, their laughter trailing like a cold wind, Morgan gathered her team, a motley crew of human cadets from Earth, Mars, and the colonies. Each one burned with a different kind of fire: defiance, hope, and the determination to prove they were more than their reputation. The gauntlet had been thrown, and humanity was ready to pick it up. The command deck of the human dormitory hummed with quiet energy. Screens flickered to life as Morgan assembled her team, Liam, a brilliant engineer with a knack for improvisation. Sela, a cultural historian who carried the stories of Earth like a sacred scroll. And Jax, a sharp-tongued pilot who had seen more skirmishes than most. The air was thick with anticipation. And something else. The weight of the challenge Zara had thrown down. "We need to blow them out of the water," Morgan said, pacing back and forth. "But not with polished tech demos. They want us to show legacy? We'll show them why we survive, why we thrive despite everything." Liam leaned back, fingers tapping nervously on the console. "Their tech is flawless. Their cities are perfect. They probably haven't had a war in centuries. How do we compete with that?" Morgan met his gaze, voice steady. "Because perfect isn't everything. We don't just survive on tech. We survive on grit, creativity, and heart. We'll show them moments they'll never expect." Sela nodded, pulling up a vast archive of Earth history. "Our archives are messy. Wars, natural disasters, failures. But we also have stories of resilience, innovation born from desperation, and cultures that never gave up, even when the universe wrote us off." Jax smirked. "Sounds like a real underdog story. They love those." Morgan smiled, a fierce, determined grin. "Exactly. And it's our story. Time to show the galaxy what that really means." Meanwhile, across campus, Zara convened with her own team in a sleek, sterile chamber. The walls were alive with holograms of their civilization's greatest achievements: spotless cities suspended in crystal towers, seamless AI integrations, and centuries of peace through order. "This will be easy," Zara said, her voice cold and confident. "We show the Council our flawless society. No mistakes, no weaknesses. The humans will look like clumsy relics by comparison." Her second-in-command, Varek, frowned. "But the Council values spirit, not just tech. What if the humans surprise us with something emotional?" Zara's eyes narrowed. "Emotion is weakness. We will win with logic and perfection. That is the future." Back in the human dorm, Morgan's team began crafting their presentation. The process was chaotic but electric. They sifted through decades of raw footage. Space missions pushed to the edge. Astronauts improvising repairs with duct tape and hope. Stories of Earth's sprawling festivals, where music and dance became a language beyond words. Footage of emergency crews pulling survivors from disaster zones. "Look at this," Sela said, holding up a grainy clip of a small Martian settlement fighting a dust storm with little more than sheer will and jury-rigged technology. "They don't have the resources of the aliens, but they survive, they adapt." Jax added, "And here, watch this." He played a recording of a battle where a handful of human pilots outmaneuvered a superior enemy fleet using daring tactics and split-second decisions. Morgan's eyes glinted. "This is what they need to see. We're not perfect. We don't have flawless cities or centuries of peace. But we fight. We learn. We build from the ruins." Over the next few days, the team worked tirelessly, stitching together a narrative that was raw, honest, and unapologetically human. The day before the presentations, tension simmered beneath the Academy's polished surfaces. Morgan stood outside the auditorium, looking up at the massive holoscreen where both teams would project their legacies to the entire student body and council. Nearby, Zara and her team arrived, their expressions icy but controlled. Zara's gaze met Morgan's across the crowd, a silent challenge passing between them. "You really think your ragtag stories will impress anyone?" Zara sneered quietly. Morgan smiled, unshaken. "I think they'll remember it forever." That night, as the city's twin moons bathed the Academy in cool silver light, both teams made their final preparations. Morgan's team watched their footage one last time, a montage of humanity's flawed, beautiful, relentless spirit. Zara reviewed her team's flawless documentary, perfectly choreographed, pristine, unyielding. Two different visions, two very different kinds of legacy. The following day, the Academy's grand auditorium filled with thousands of students, faculty, and council members. The air was thick with anticipation. Morgan sat quietly, heart pounding, not just for the competition, but for what was at stake. Because this was more than a contest. This was humanity's chance to finally step out of the shadows. To show the galaxy that beneath the scars, beneath the chaos, beat a spirit fierce enough to challenge the stars themselves. The grand auditorium was a cathedral of light and sound. Thousands of eyes, multiple species, multiple worlds, were fixed on the enormous holoscreen suspended above the stage. The atmosphere buzzed with a mix of curiosity and expectation. Zara's team was first to present. The lights dimmed. A hush fell over the crowd. Then the screen lit up with crystalline images that shimmered with precision. The alien footage began with sweeping aerial shots of their homeworld, a city of impossible beauty, gleaming towers rising like shards of glass into a cloudless sky. Drones hummed in perfect formation, painting trails of light in the air, while massive gardens floated weightlessly, sustained by elegant, silent technology. Narration followed, calm and controlled, in flawless Galactic. Common. Zara's voice carried the pride of her people. Our civilization stands as a beacon of progress, a model of harmony between science and society. For centuries, we have perfected order, eliminated conflict, and mastered the forces of nature through intellect and discipline. The images shifted seamlessly to advanced laboratories where quantum computers hummed and AI constructs flawlessly optimized energy grids and medical treatments. No error, no flaw, only unbroken progress. The footage then showcased cultural achievements. Artists creating symphonies with neural interfaces, philosophers debating in virtual arenas, children learning from holographic tutors that anticipated every need. It was a civilization without scars, without struggle, a perfect machine humming in synchronicity. Throughout, Zara appeared at key moments, her presence commanding and serene, a symbol of their collective excellence. The audience was visibly impressed. Murmurs of admiration rippled through the crowd. Some leaned forward, eyes wide. Morgan watched from the sidelines, feeling a familiar sting of doubt. The alien presentation was flawless, elegant, and cold. There was beauty, yes, but a sterility that felt almost unsettling. Too perfect, Liam whispered, eyes narrowing. Sella nodded. It's like a dream, or a simulation. No mess, no chaos, no real pain. Jack scoffed. No soul. The video continued, emphasizing their long peace, their elimination of disease, the elegant efficiency of their governance. A final sweeping shot showed their society united beneath a grand emblem, a symbol of order, stability, and logic. Zara's closing words echoed clearly. We offer a future unburdened by chaos, a civilization shaped by intellect and discipline. This is our legacy. The lights brightened. Applause filled the auditorium, polite but lacking true passion. Morgan's team exchanged glances. The aliens had set a high bar, showing what seemed like a flawless utopia, but something was missing. Something real. Backstage, Zara allowed herself a small, satisfied smile. They will never match this, she said quietly. But as she turned, a flicker of doubt shadowed her eyes. Morgan's team stepped forward as the auditorium settled once more. The room darkened again, but the air felt different this time. Warmer, more charged. The human presentation began with shaky, grainy footage of Earth's earliest space missions. Astronauts cramped in vessels cobbled together with ingenuity and grit. The hum of engines was raw, imperfect, but the determination was undeniable. A voiceover spoke, raw and passionate. We are a species born in struggle, shaped by hardship, crisis, and an unyielding will to survive. Scenes shifted rapidly. Firefighters battling towering infernos, doctors working around the clock in war-torn zones, children dancing at festivals despite the darkness around them. There were no gleaming cities here, no seamless tech. Instead, the footage captured sweat, dirt, tears, and laughter. A clip showed a team of scientists racing to develop vaccines amid a pandemic, faces tired but unbroken. Another showed a ragtag group of space pilots outmaneuvering, a vastly superior enemy with daring tactics born from desperation. The screen pulsed with images of families hugging after disasters, volunteers rebuilding shattered communities, artists painting murals on ruined walls. Sella's narration was quiet but steady. Our strength is not in perfection, it is in our spirit, our resilience, and the way we rise again, every time the universe knocks us down. The crowd leaned in. This was not the slick promise of a perfect future. It was the messy, beautiful story of survival. Morgan's voice joined, calm but fierce. We don't have flawless technology. We don't have centuries of peace. But we have something harder to quantify. We have heart. We adapt. We fight. We refuse to be erased. The final moments showed a recent battle. A fleet of battered human ships in a desperate formation, outnumbered but outwitting a superior force with quick thinking and unbreakable teamwork. The audience gasped. The light slowly brightened as the video ended. Silence fell. For a long moment, no one moved. Then whispers spread, soft, uncertain, but growing. Zara stared at the screen, her confidence faltering. Morgan felt her heart pounding, not just from the presentation but from something deeper. They had shown the galaxy what it meant to be human. The moment the alien footage ended, Morgan and her team knew they had struck a nerve. The silence in the auditorium was heavier than any applause could be. It was a pause pregnant with uncertainty, a crack in the polished veneer of alien superiority. Back in the human dormitory, the team gathered around a hollow table, faces glowing, with determination. We've shown them the heart, Morgan said, voice low but fierce. Now we need to show them the full picture. Why we're not just survivors but innovators and fighters. Liam tapped the table, bringing up schematics and grainy images from Earth's scattered space colonies. Look at this, he said. We don't have the resources or tech the aliens have. What we do have is resourcefulness, improvisation. We turn scraps into weapons, disasters into opportunities. Sella pulled up footage from ancient Earth, a mosaic of human cultures, each different but united by their indomitable will. It's easy to ignore the chaos on the surface, she said softly. But every culture carries the fire of endurance. Festivals, stories, music, all proof that humanity thrives even in darkness. Jax leaned forward, smirking. And let's not forget the battles. We may not have perfect tech, but when we're cornered, we fight smarter. Look at this clip from the skirmish near the Helios Rift. Our pilots used terrain and decoys to turn the tide. Morgan smiled, proud. Exactly. The aliens want perfect tech. We give them perfect adaptability. Over the next days, the team worked feverishly. The dorm was alive with activity. Screens flickered with clips of historical breakthroughs, personal stories, and moments of raw, unfiltered humanity. One segment showed a battered human engineer jury-rigging a starship engine with nothing but duct tape and determination as alarms blared. Another showed a child teaching a robot to paint, a symbol of human creativity blending with technology in imperfect harmony. But the centerpiece was a sequence Morgan insisted on. Footage from Earth's darkest hours, natural disasters, wars, pandemics, followed by scenes of community rebuilding, strangers helping strangers, hands raised not in surrender but in solidarity. We're not flawless, Morgan said to her team, eyes bright, but we're unstoppable. Meanwhile, whispers began circulating in the academy's corridors. Some students who had laughed at humanity now watched with growing respect. Alien spectators approached human students with questions, their tone less mocking and more curious. Zara caught wind of the shift. Her icy facade flickered for the first time. She met with her team behind closed doors. We cannot let sentimentality blind us, she warned. Our society is built on logic and perfection. But this unpredictable human spirit complicates things. Varric frowned. Perhaps their chaos is a kind of strength. We underestimated them. Zara clenched her fists. No, we will win with our undeniable progress. But doubt had been planted. On the eve of the final presentations, Morgan's team reviewed their work one last time. The footage was raw, flaws included intentionally. They wanted the galaxy to see the truth. Humanity was imperfect, often broken, but fiercely alive. Sela looked at the images of festivals, battles, and survivors, then at Morgan. "We're not just telling a story," she said. "We're showing what it means to be human." Morgan nodded. "And it's a story they won't forget." The next day, the Academy's grand auditorium was packed tighter than ever. Students from hundreds of worlds filled the seats, eager to witness the culmination of the Legacy Challenge. As the human footage began, the crowd leaned in, eyes wide with anticipation. Unlike the aliens' pristine documentary, the human presentation pulsed with life, struggle, and hope. Morgan felt the weight of generations on her shoulders, the pioneers, the fighters, the dreamers. They were no longer just underdogs, they were contenders. The holoscreen flickered to life again, and the auditorium fell into a hush that was almost reverent. This was the moment humanity's true story would be revealed, not just the facts, but the pulse beneath them. The footage opened with a raw scene, a scorched battlefield on a distant planet, smoke curling against a darkening sky. A ragtag squad of human soldiers moved with gritty determination, their equipment battered and mismatched. The alien audience watched in silence as the humans coordinated through crackling comms, improvising plans on the fly. A voiceover from Morgan cut through the quiet, calm but fierce. "We do not claim perfection. We claim resilience. In every shadow of destruction, we find the spark to rise." The camera shifted to a small colony struggling against a merciless dust storm. Children huddled in makeshift shelters, elders rallying the community to protect their fragile homes. The dust wasn't just a natural disaster, it was a daily reminder of the universe's indifference. The footage didn't shy away from hardship. It showed the scars humanity bore, cities rebuilt after earthquakes, rivers choked with pollution, families mourning lost loved ones. But alongside this pain came something else: hope. Scenes of volunteers distributing food, doctors working under impossible conditions, artists painting murals of brighter futures. The images were unpolished, raw, sometimes shaky, sometimes grainy, but never less than real. Sela's narration added weight to the visuals. Our legacy is written not in flawless structures, but in the hands that rebuild them. We are the sum of every failure overcome and every light kindled in the darkness. The audience, so used to sterile perfection, shifted uncomfortably. Some alien students exchanged uneasy glances. Could this chaotic, imperfect species really be more than a curiosity? Then came the moment that stilled the room. The screen showed a desperate space battle near the Helios Rift, a narrow, asteroid-strewn sector known for its treacherous navigation. Human pilots darted through the debris field, outnumbered 3-1. Their ships bore the marks of countless repairs, patched and jury-rigged in ways that would horrify any conventional engineer. But their movements were fluid, almost dance-like, a blend of instinct and hard-earned experience. A voice from the comms shouted tactical commands mixed with sharp laughter and quick encouragements. The humans executed a daring gambit. Splitting their forces, they lured the enemy fleet into the tight, twisting asteroid belt. Explosions lit the darkness as the superior force stumbled, caught by the hazards they underestimated. The human pilots struck with precision and ferocity. Despite their disadvantages, they dismantled the enemy's formation piece by piece. Morgan's voiceover carried through. "We are not the strongest. We are not the most advanced, but we are adaptable, unpredictable, and when cornered, we fight with everything we have." The alien spectators watched, eyes widening. Many leaned forward, their previous smugness replaced by awe. The footage shifted, once more, this time to scenes on Earth itself. A montage of cultural celebrations unfolded. Vibrant festivals in crowded streets, dancers spinning in colorful robes, voices raised in song. Humans of every skin tone, language, and faith joined in unity and joy. One shot lingered on an elderly woman handing a small child a hand-carved toy, a symbol of hope passed from one generation to the next. The final image was a sunrise over Earth's horizon seen from orbit, soft golden light spilling over blue oceans and green forests. The screen faded to black. Silence swept the auditorium, thick, palpable. No one moved. No one applauded immediately. Then slowly, the murmurs began, soft, whispers rising into genuine conversations. Zara sat frozen, her confident mask slipping. The footage had touched something she hadn't expected, a raw honesty that no amount of polished technology could replicate. Morgan sat quietly, chest tight with a mix of relief and pride. They had done more than present a video. They had shown the galaxy the fire that burns beneath humanity's scars. Backstage, Zara approached Morgan with a tentative smile. "You speak of spirit," Zara said quietly. "It is compelling. Perhaps there is strength in chaos we did not understand." Morgan met her gaze steadily. "Perfection is a dream. Survival is a choice. And humans have made that choice over and over." Zara nodded slowly. "Perhaps this is only the beginning." The auditorium slowly emptied, but the impact lingered like a pulse, proof that humanity was more than the sum of its flaws. For the first time, the galaxy looked at humanity and saw not a primitive relic, but a species capable of fierce heart, fierce hope, and fierce survival. The auditorium was quieter than usual as the last echoes of applause faded. The galaxy's elite had just witnessed something unexpected, not just a presentation but a revelation. For the first time, many found themselves rethinking humanity. Morgan and her team sat together in a small alcove backstage, faces flushed with adrenaline and exhaustion. The weight of the moment pressed on them, not just pride but the heavy knowledge that this was only the beginning. "We shook them," Jack said, breaking the silence with a tired grin. "Did you see those looks?" Even Zara looked rattled. Morgan smiled but didn't relax. "They won't forget us now. But winning respect is just step one. We have to build on this." Sela nodded thoughtfully. "Curiosity is rising. We're getting questions, invitations. Some species want to learn from us about how we endure, how we adapt." Liam frowned. "But not everyone's happy. The perfectionists see us as a threat. They'll try to push back, maybe even sabotage." Morgan's jaw tightened. "Then we show them that fire burns brighter than fear." The Galactic Council convened soon after the presentations to deliberate. The chamber was a grand spectacle, an immense circular hall suspended in space lit by stars beyond the transparent dome above. Representatives from countless worlds debated fervently. Some praised humanity's raw spirit as a refreshing contrast to sterile perfection. Others warned that unpredictability bred chaos and danger. Zara spoke eloquently, still recovering from her earlier defeat. "Their passion is undeniable, but it comes with risks. The galaxy must balance innovation with order." Morgan watched from the observer's gallery, eyes sharp. When it was her turn to speak, she stepped forward confidently. "Humans do not offer chaos. We offer resilience. We have survived because we face the unknown with courage, creativity, and heart. Our legacy is not a flawless past, but an unbreakable will to forge a future." A hush fell. The chair of the council, a being of shifting light named Elis, nodded thoughtfully. "Your words carry weight, Morgan. The galaxy may find strength in this diversity." Back at the academy, the dynamics shifted rapidly. The alien students who had once sneered now approached humanity with tentative respect. Invitations to collaborate flooded Morgan's team. One of the most surprising came from Varric, Zara's second-in-command. He sought Morgan out in the cafeteria, an uncharacteristic flicker of humility in his eyes. "I underestimated you," he said. "Your people's spirit is unlike anything I have known. I want to learn, if you will allow it." Morgan considered him for a long moment, then nodded. "Everyone deserves a chance. Let's see where this goes." But not all reactions were so positive. Rumors of sabotage attempts reached Morgan's team. Equipment was mysteriously malfunctioning, data corrupted. Someone was trying to undermine humanity's new standing. "We're poking the hive," Liam muttered grimly. Some of the older factions won't accept us rising. Morgan clenched her fists. Then we guard our legacy fiercely. We protect what we've earned. As weeks passed, humanity's story spread across the academy and beyond. Lectures on human resilience were added to the curriculum. Cultural exchanges blossomed, blending Earth's chaotic beauty with alien precision. Morgan often walked through the bustling corridors, noticing how the atmosphere had shifted. The sneers were gone, replaced by curious questions, genuine smiles. One afternoon, she found Zara waiting for her by the Academy Gardens, a place where bioluminescent plants glowed softly under twin moons. Zara's expression was unreadable. "Admit," she said slowly, "your people's legacy has changed my understanding. Perhaps there is more to progress than order." Morgan smiled, offering her hand. "There's always more when you look beyond the surface." Zara hesitated, then shook it. That night, as Morgan looked out over the Academy's glowing cityscape, she felt a mix of exhaustion and hope. Humanity had fought hard to be seen, not just as primitive relics, but as a force with spirit and strength. But the real challenge was only beginning. The galaxy was vast and the path ahead was uncertain. Yet, in her heart, Morgan knew one thing with absolute certainty. Humanity's legacy was just waking up. The calm that had settled over the Academy was fragile, like glass stretched too thin. Morgan knew better than anyone that peace was often just the lull before the storm. Despite the growing respect humanity had earned, whispers of resistance echoed through the corridors. There were factions within the Galactic Council and among the alien students who saw humanity's rise as a threat to their carefully crafted order. One evening, Morgan sat with Liam and Sella in their dormitory's common room, the holoscreen flickering with reports from across the galaxy. "Sabotage attempts are increasing," Liam said, voice low and tense. "Someone's been hacking human supply lines, corrupting data archives, even spreading propaganda to turn allies against us." Sella frowned. "It's fear. They're afraid that our chaos will unravel their perfection." Morgan's gaze hardened. "Then we have to show them that our chaos isn't a weakness, it's our greatest strength." Just then, Jax burst in, breathless. "There's been an incident at the docking bay, an explosion. Not much damage, but it's a warning." Morgan stood. "We're not backing down. We fight with everything we have." Meanwhile, Zara convened a secret meeting with her closest advisors, including Varek. "We cannot allow humanity to destabilize the balance," Zara said coldly. "Their unpredictability threatens everything we've built." Varek hesitated. "But their spirit also inspires change. Maybe we should consider working with them." Zara's eyes flashed. "No. We control the future, not let it slip into chaos." The room fell silent. Tensions simmered beneath Zara's rigid resolve. The next day, Morgan was summoned to the Academy's council chamber. The massive doors slid open, revealing a sea of faces, some supportive, others skeptical. Elis, the council's chair, addressed her. "Morgan, the council is divided. Some demand harsher measures against those who threaten order. Others advocate for unity." Morgan took a deep breath. "Order without freedom is tyranny. Humanity offers balance, not chaos, but the unpredictable power of life itself." Her words sparked heated debate. But a surprising number of council members spoke in her favor, citing the undeniable impact of humanity's legacy. The vote was narrow, but the council agreed. Humanity's place was secure, for now. That evening, Morgan met Zara on the Academy's observation deck, the stars glittering above like scattered diamonds. "I underestimated you," Zara admitted, voice soft but firm. "Your people's fire is contagious." Morgan smiled. "It's not about winning or losing. It's about showing the galaxy that there's strength in imperfection." Zara nodded slowly. "Perhaps it is time to rethink what progress truly means." Their rivalry was far from over, but a new respect had begun to grow. Days later, a summit was called. Representatives from diverse worlds, humans and aliens alike, gathered to discuss the future. Morgan stood before them, heart pounding but steady. "We All come from different stars with different histories. But the galaxy belongs to all of us. Our diversity is our strength. She gestured toward the holoscreen, now showing a montage of humanity's resilience alongside alien achievements, a tapestry woven from imperfection and precision. The future isn't about perfection. It's about the courage to change, to adapt, to grow together. The room erupted in applause, genuine, thunderous, and filled with hope. As the summit closed, Morgan felt the weight of responsibility settle on her shoulders. The path ahead was uncertain, shadowed by those who feared change. But she knew this. Humanity's legacy was no longer a secret. It was a beacon, and no matter the darkness ahead, that light would not be extinguished. The summit's closing moments still echoed in Morgan's mind as she walked through the academy's glowing corridors. The energy had shifted, not just among the students but across the galaxy. Humanity's story had ignited something unexpected, hope. But peace was fragile. A sudden alert blared through the academy's comms. Morgan's team rushed to the command center, where a holographic star map flickered with urgent red blips. Multiple ships detected entering the outer sectors at high velocity. The station officer reported. Unknown fleet, no identification. Morgan's heart thudded. This wasn't random, it was a challenge. We're under scrutiny, Liam said grimly. Someone's testing us. Morgan nodded. Prepare defensive protocols, but keep channels open. We don't want war if we can avoid it. Hours later, the fleet emerged from the shadows, sleek warships from an ancient faction known for ruthless expansion. They hadn't attended the summit. They hadn't embraced change. Their leader, a towering figure in black armor, broadcast a chilling message. Humans are an aberration. They threaten the balance of order. Surrender your claims or be destroyed. The Academy's leaders convened urgently. Zara, standing beside Morgan, spoke firmly. This is a test of more than weapons, it's a test of will. We stand together or fall divided. Morgan took the floor, her voice steady and resolute. Humanity will not yield. We fight not because we desire war, but because we cherish life, in all its chaos and beauty. The battle that followed was fierce and chaotic. Human pilots flying battered ships jury-rigged from salvaged parts danced through the starfield with reckless courage. Alien allies, inspired by humanity's spirit, flanked them, blending precision with passion. Explosions lit the void, lasers streaked, and starships collided in a deadly ballet. Morgan coordinated defenses, her mind sharp despite the roar of conflict. The thick of battle, Zara's voice came over comms, calm but fierce. Your unpredictability saved us today, Morgan. Perhaps it is time to build a future together. Morgan allowed herself a brief smile amid the chaos. When the dust settled, the ancient fleet withdrew, defeated but not destroyed. The galaxy had witnessed something new. Unity forged in fire, born of respect and resilience. The aftermath was quiet but profound. At the Academy, leaders from all races gathered in a historic assembly. We have learned, Ellis said solemnly, that strength comes not from perfection but from diversity and courage. Morgan stood beside Zara, their rivalry transformed into alliance. Together, they addressed the assembly. Our legacy is not the flawless city or the perfect starship, Morgan said. It is the spirit to endure, to fight, and to hope. Zara nodded. And together, we will shape a galaxy where every voice is heard, every story valued. Months later, Morgan looked out at Earth's blue oceans from a new starship, one born of collaboration between human and alien engineers. It was imperfect in design, but perfect in purpose. Beside her stood Sela, Liam, Jax, and Zara, a team forged in trials, bound by respect. The ship's engines hummed, ready to explore the stars. Morgan's heart swelled. The galaxy was vast and uncertain, but humanity's legacy was clear. They were not perfect, they were unstoppable, and their story was just beginning. The end.